Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is VJ and I am excited to share with you a fantasy novel. In this video, I will be using an AI voice generator to bring the story of The Pinnacle of Life to life. Listen as the characters come alive and the story unfolds before your very ears. Whether you're a lover of literature or simply looking for something new to listen to, I believe you'll find something in this book that resonates with you. Alexrockfeller is the young master of the richest family in the world, a man whom many princesses want to marry, and other men envy him deeply. However, he was treated worse than a nanny by his mother-in-law. Want to know what happens next? So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the world of the Pinnacle of Life together. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support my channel.
As night fell in California, the Alvoices' residence was filled with brilliant light and cheerful noises. Today marked the birthday of Madame Claire of the Alvoices family. Despite her age, she was still the epitome of elegance and beauty. More remarkably, was the beauty and grace of her two daughters. One of them was deemed California's most beautiful, and the other was said to be the best-looking in her college. Countless men who had been drooling over their beauty seized the opportunity and came to wish Madame Claire a happy birthday.
Madame Claire, I present to you the Pearl of the East Sea. Wearing it will help your complexion. Happy birthday.
Madam, I present to you a pair of jade scepters. Wishing you eternal youth and may all your wishes come true.
As the gifts were presented to her one by one, the look of delight could not be hidden on Madame Claire's face. She was feeling overjoyed. Like a bolt from the blue, a young man wearing a pair of worn-out jeans rushed into the villa looking distressed. He said to Madame Claire,
"Mom, my mother is very sick and needs immediate attention. Could you please lend me $500,000?
Everyone was in shock and stared at the young man. The disgust on their faces was apparent. He had the audacity to not only come in empty-handed, but to ask for $500,000 of handout. Had he gone insane? A faint voice in the crowd asked.
Who is this person?
A man in a suit arrogantly said.
Who else can it be? He is Alexrockfeller, the son-in-law of the Alvoices family. The useless husband of Lady Dorothy. He is but a husband only in name. Lady Dorothy is a virgin. Otherwise, none of us will be here today.
The villa was bursting with laughter as he finished his sentence. A beautiful lady sitting on the couch looked at Alex with disappointment. She was Alex's wife, Lady Dorothy Alvoices. They had been married for almost a year, but Alex's status in the family was worse than that of a nanny. He was never even allowed to enter his wife's room. A year ago, on the day of their wedding, Alex's parents were involved in a traffic accident. His father, William Rockefeller, was pronounced dead on the spot. His mother had been in a coma up till now. To make matters worse, his father was framed for corruption, and his company as well as all the properties had been seized. Alex was expelled from the House of Rockefeller. A man who was once treated as a young prince had turned into a nobody overnight. Naturally, his money-loving mother-in-law despised him to his very core. In order to afford his mother's medical bills, he had to sell off the only house that he had under his legal ownership, and it was still nowhere near enough to pay for the exorbitant fees incurred by her treatment. He had just been notified by the hospital that he had to come up with $500,000 for a critical operation immediately, otherwise, his mother would only have 3 days of life left. Alex had exhausted all other options. He had no choice but to come to beg the Alvoices family for money. Looking at Alex's desperate begging, embarrassing her in front of her guests on her birthday, Madame Claire's face turned red with fury. She took a piece of her birthday cake and threw it at Alex and said,
"You are such garbage. The only thing you know how to do is beg for money from us every day. Do you think our money grows on trees? Is it not enough that we give you a stipend of $10,000 every month? You dare to come here begging for $500,000? Your mother's medical expenses are like a bottomless pit. There's no need for an operation, just prepare for her funeral already."
Alex immediately let go of his tightly held hands. Lady Dorothy finally stood up and handed some tissue to Alex. She then said,
"Mom, you should be more civil about this. There's no need to get physical."
At this moment, Beatrice, the younger sister of Dorothy, said sneeringly,
"Sister, why are you still defending this trash? Look at him. Has he contributed a single cent since he came into our family? Has he ever given a gift to me and mother? No. What else can he do apart from asking our family for money? I think you should leave him as soon as possible. There are many young, talented, and eligible men here today. Any one of them is 1,000-fold better than him.
As they heard the words of Lady Beatrice Essex, all of the young men couldn't wait to speak up.
I agree. Being married to this loser is truly unfortunate for Lady Dorothy. It's much better to get the marriage annulled immediately,
said one young man.
I agree. Being married to this loser is truly unfortunate for Lady Dorothy. It's much better to get the marriage annulled immediately. I'm willing to marry Lady Dorothy immediately. I will provide a dowry of a mansion in Beverly Hills worth $30 million and another $20 million in cash.
Someone else immediately shouted.
$30 million mansion in Beverly Hills? That has to be the cheapest home in the neighborhood. I am willing to give a mansion worth $80 million in Beverly Hills if you marry me, Lady Dorothy. Me. As long as Lady Dorothy marry me, all of Jones' family billions in assets will be yours.
Alex's face had gone pale with humiliation. Dorothy's face had also turned pale. She was depressed because of the words her mother spoke next. Madame Claire was pleased to see everyone offering such sky-high dowries for her daughter's hand in marriage and said,
Gentlemen, please settle down and listen to what I have to say. Truth be told, my daughter Dorothy recently came upon a problem and accidentally ran into Sir Gaston Gates of Thousand Miles Corporation. Sir Gaston has threatened to run our Essex construction out of business. Whoever is willing and able to help Dorothy out of this mess, you have my blessing for my daughter's hand in marriage.
She did not mention that Sir Gaston had asked for the companionship of Lady Dorothy, otherwise, he would run the Essex family out of town. Alex was fueled with anger and exclaimed loudly,
I will not agree to that. Dorothy is my wife.
Madame Claire slapped Alex across his face and said,
Who is your wife? Are you not aware that you are a nobody? You have no right to speak. Gentlemen, what do you say?
After hearing of the threat of Gaston Gates, all those who were vying to marry Lady Dorothy changed their attitude drastically and did not utter a single word. Thousand Miles Conglomerate was the leading corporation in California. Their assets were worth trillions of dollars. A single word from the Gates family could make the world tremble. What was more frightening was the fact that Lex Gunther, the owner of Thousand Miles Conglomerate, known as Lord Lex, was the dawn of California's underground world, with unfathomable power and influence. None of them were crazy enough to be making enemies of the Thousand Miles Conglomerate just for Lady Dorothy's hand in marriage. Witnessing the utter silence of the moment, Madame Claire's heart sank a little with restlessness. Suddenly, someone said,
All right, I will settle this matter with Thousand Miles Conglomerate, and once it's done, I will marry Lady Dorothy.
Everyone's head turned and all eyes were on a young man wearing a Giorgio Armani suit with extraordinary temperament walking in with his head held high.
Young Master Spark.
Madame Claire quickly greeted the incoming person enthusiastically. Everyone in the villa had respect written on their faces. He was Spark Rockefeller, the young director of Rockefeller Group. Although the real number was unknown to the world, it was estimated that the wealth of Rockefeller Group totaled up to $300 billion, more than all of them combined. However, when Alex saw this man, he charged towards him with angered eyes, grabbed him by the collar and yelled,
You animal! Dorothy is your sister-in-law. How can you call yourself a human when you want to marry your sister-in-law?
As fate had it, Spark was Alex's cousin. He was the son of his uncle, John Rockefeller. Alex had deep hatred for them both. He recalled a little incident that occurred last October, right after his parents were involved in the car accident. It was John who came out and framed his father for corruption and stole Rockefeller Group that was built by his parents, and kicked Alex out of the Rockefellers' residence. If it wasn't for them, Alex's situation would not be as dire as it currently was. Spark looked at Alex with contempt and said,
What sister-in-law? You were kicked out of the Rockefellers' residence by your own grandfather. How can Lady Dorothy be considered as my sister-in-law? Besides, you do not deserve her.
Madame Claire pulled Alex away and kicked him. She then turned around with a smile, said to Spark.
Master Spark, I'm so blessed a man of your esteem has managed to make time for me today.
Madam, it is your birthday today. I came here to wish you personally. This is a 100-year-old ginseng. Even I had to jump through hoops to buy it for $3 million, just to give it to you as a birthday gift.
Upon hearing that the ginseng was worth that much money, Madame Claire could not contain her joy. She immediately received it with a greedy grin from ear to ear. As Spark gazed at Lady Dorothy, he was mesmerized by her beauty. It was obvious to everyone that he desired her. In fact, he had been yearning for her for a long time. He spoke softly.
Dorothy, I've heard about your little incident with the Gates family. It just so happens that my father has a close friend in the upper management of Thousand Miles Conglomerate. I can help you to resolve this matter. Once it's done, I will give you a grand wedding beyond your imagination. Dorothy, I love you with all my heart and have loved you from the first time that I saw you. When we're married, the entire Rockefeller group will be yours.
I will not get a divorce.
Madame Claire was filled with excitement when she heard that the entire Rockefeller group would belong to her daughter. She tugged at Lady Dorothy and said,
Are you crazy? The odds of landing a guy like Spark is lower than being struck by lightning. Why do you still want to stay married to this garbage? Well, Mr. Spark, it seems like you are truly in love with my daughter. This is great. From now on, you will be my son-in-law.
I heard the news of your ill mother and you need $500,000 for her surgery. Here is the $500,000, it is yours if you file for a divorce with Dorothy tomorrow.
Spark said to Alex as he nonchalantly tossed an American Express card at Alex's feet. Alex's eyes turned red. He could not bear to take Spark money. Lady Dorothy could not stand it any longer. She pulled Alex and said,
I will go to the hospital with you to see your mother. I can't get the $500,000 right now, but I will find a way.
How will you figure it out? We don't have that much money, unless you sell the house. I am telling you now, Dorothy, if you dare to step out of this door today, we will no longer be family.
Alex, you should leave now. You are embarrassing my sister with your presence. Get out of here.
Bang! Alex was out of the villa and the door was shut after him. He could hear Spark shouting from within the villa.
Alex, remember to get a divorce tomorrow.
And all the guests' laughter filled the silent night. Alex was seething with rage and anxiously left the Essex's residence in despair. Although he was just a husband in name to Lady Dorothy, he was truly in love with her. They attended college together and had fallen in love with each other at that time. It was a match made in heaven, but everything came crashing down on their wedding day. He had hit rock bottom, losing his parents and his wealth. On top of that, he was despised by his mother-in-law, which made things much more difficult. At this very moment, a black Rolls-Royce Phantom slowly stopped beside him.
Master Alex.
A man in a well-tailored suit in his 50s exited the car. Alex was confused as he did not know this man and said,
Are you calling me? Do I know you?
The man walked up to him, took a slight bow and said,
I am Lex Gunther of Thousand Miles Conglomerate. I work for your father.
What?
Alex was stunned. Just a few moments ago, he heard the Essex family anxiously selling their daughter to the highest bidder as they were worried that Thousand Miles Conglomerate would destroy them. Out of the blue, the infamous Lex Gunther of Thousand Miles Conglomerate suddenly appeared saying that he was working for his father. Was this all an elaborate prank?
What business do you have with me?
I heard that you are facing some difficulties recently, Mr. Rockefeller. I'm here to offer you some help. The pin is your birth date.
The old man said as he handed Alex a black ATM card. Alex was bewildered.
How much money is in the account?
Not much, a measly $10 billion.
Alex was shocked. $10 billion? Who would pull this kind of prank? Rockefeller Group was formidable in its heyday, with a market value of $300 billion, but most of them were fixed assets. From what he knew, even his father did not have $10 billion cash in the bank. But more importantly, the old man claimed that he worked for William Rockefeller.
You said that you work for my father? That means that 1,000 Miles conglomerate.
Yes, the entire 1,000 Miles conglomerate is yours, Master Alex.
Slap. Alex slapped himself across the face. Lord Lex said in surprise.
Master Alex, what are you doing?
I think I might be dreaming.
This is all true. Your father, Mr. William Rockefeller, saved my life. If it weren't for him, I would have been dead by now. Back then, it was Mr. Rockefeller who built 1,000 Miles conglomerate. He then put me in charge of it.
Huh?
Alex was dumbfounded, he still thought that it was just a dream. 1,000 Miles conglomerate was out of Rockefeller Group's league. It was rumored to have trillions of dollars in assets, and it even had a huge influence in the underground world. Alex thought to himself.
My father created such a behemoth? Yet I have never heard of it.
Mr. Rockefeller was a genius. Not long after he founded Rockefeller Group, he also built 1,000 Miles conglomerate. One for the light and the other in the shadows to complement each other. Besides that, Mr. Rockefeller asked me to give this to you.
With that being said, he took out a small antique box and handed it to Alex. With a perplexed look on his face, Alex replied.
When did my father give it to you? Why are you only handing this over to me now?
Today is your 24th birthday. This is a birthday gift from your father. A year ago, Mr. Rockefeller had it arranged. Happy birthday, Master Alex. Master Alex, your mother is in a dire situation right now. As for me, it is not convenient for me to come forward and help. You should hurry. If you need anything, just give a call. The number that I showed you just now is my personal phone number. I will always be on the line for you, Master.
Lord Lex had a weary look on his face. After he was done speaking, he got into the Rolls-Royce and left the scene. Alex was still in shock as if it was all a dream. The ATM card in his left hand and the small antique box in the right looked extremely real to him. As luck would have it, there was an ATM machine right next to him. Alex rushed over, inserted the card, and entered the PIN. The balance showed $10 billion to $10 billion. While looking at all the zeros, Alex's jaw dropped. He then opened up the antique box and found a pitch-black ring inside.
Why did Dad give this to me?
Alex questioned. He tried it on and it fit right on his finger. Now that he had the money, Alex rushed to the hospital. The most urgent business to take care of was to pay for his mother's surgery immediately. Her condition would be much better once the surgery was done. Alex's mother, Madame Brittany, was hospitalized here and had been in a coma since the traffic accident. The doctors pronounced her as brain dead and said that the chances of her ever waking up was only 5%. As Alex walked into the familiar hospital ward, he saw that it was empty. His mother was not in the bed. Where could she have gone? He quickly ran out of the ward and bumped into a familiar someone.
Hey, are you crazy? Are you blind? Oh, it's you. The famous piece of trash. Are you here to take advantage of me by bumping into me on purpose? Is it because you can't touch your own wife at home? Well, good news, you used to look down on me, but now you don't even deserve me.
A woman dressed in a nurse's uniform loudly exclaimed. Her name was Chloe, an acquaintance of Alex's. Back in his college days, Alex had dated Chloe for a month. He had then discovered that Chloe was a gold digger and was flirting with many others behind his back and broke up with her.
Where is my mother? Where has she gone?
Ha, you should ask yourself that. You can't even look after your own mother. You are useless. Do you only know how to beg for money from your wife and mother-in-law like a dog?
I'm asking you again, where's my mother? Where did you bring her to? You are the nurse on duty here, how can you not know?
There. She's right over there.
Alex looked at where Chloe pointed and there was a hospital bed in the aisle, and the person lying on the bed was his mother, Madame Brittany.
Mom!
Alex let go of Chloe and ran over with his eyes turning red. Who was the one responsible for treating his mother like a piece of garbage? Alex was furious.
Chloe, did you do this?
So what if it was me? You are the one who is poor, can't afford to pay her bills. This is a private hospital. Do you think we are running a charity? If you can't afford it, the only option is to leave. What are you still doing here? You are not special. If you have the money, then pay up. If you can't afford it, I'm sorry but to tell you that you need to get your mother out of the hospital now. Hey, how about this? Go back to grovel at your mother-in-law and kneel down to your wife and beg them a few more times, maybe they will change their minds and give you some money. But that nasty woman Dorothy Essex might only give you $100. If you kneel and beg me, I will pay for your mother's hospital bed.
Even if he kneels to me every day at home, he would never kneel to you for money.
Alex turned his head. He was shocked to see that it was Dorothy.
Why are you here?
I have already deposited $500,000 in your account. That is all I can do.
Where did you get the money? Did you get it from Spark? Dorothy, you cannot take the money. What will happen to us after taking his money? Moreover, I have the money, more than you can imagine. I can take care of your problem.
Slap. Dorothy slapped Alex across his face and said,
Was 10 months of daydreaming not enough for you? Can you stop this nonsense? Forget it and do as you please. Tomorrow, we will go our separate ways.
After she's done speaking, Dorothy turned around and left the hospital abruptly. Alex tried to chase after her but was stopped by Chloe. She had a vile smile on her face.
Oh my, what is going on here? Why is your cousin, Spark, involved? Could it be that Dorothy wanted to help you and decided to earn the money by spending a night with Spark? Oh my, this is such a great comedy.
I will kill you if you keep spouting nonsense.
How dare you slap me?
Chloe said as she rushed at Alex. The head nurse who saw what was going on rushed over and stopped Chloe.
What are you two doing? Hold your horses, Chloe. Fighting in this hospital. Do you want me to fire you?
After being reprimanded by the head nurse, Chloe came to her senses. She pointed at Alex and said,
This bastard slapped me. Why can't I reciprocate?
Why did you hit her?
She left my mother here like a piece of garbage, and you dare to ask me why? There's no reason for her to just leave my mother here. She's human, not trash. I know that there's no more money in my payment account, but it does not mean that I can't afford to pay any longer.
The head nurse just only realized Lady Brittany was left in the corridor. She was furious and screamed.
What in the world are you doing, Chloe? Who gave you the authority to do this? Apologize to Mr. Alex and immediately return the patient to the ward.
Chloe wouldn't dare to defy the head nurse, so she could only obediently apologize and bring Lady Brittany back to her ward. Alex then went to find his mother's primary physician to arrange for the surgery as soon as possible. Lady Brittany's primary doctor was Dr. Cheryl and she was only 26 years old. Yet, she was already a renowned doctor with a great track record. She was the granddaughter of California's famous genius Dr. James Coney. Not only was she smart, she also had looks that would bring Troy to its knees. Alex was feeling anxious and troubled not only about the condition of his mother, but as well as the troubles that Dorothy was facing. Without a thought, he stormed into Dr. Cheryl's office without knocking and was shocked to see a beautiful woman with skin as fair as Snow White changing her clothes. Her hourglass figure captivated him. Their eyes met and locked for a full 3 seconds before the woman could let out a scream. She quickly covered her body with her medical gown.
I'm so sorry, Dr. Cheryl. I swear it is not intentional. I'm no peeping Tom.
Alex apologized profusely. He hastily turned around and closed the door. The beautiful woman was Dr. Cheryl Coney, his mother's primary physician. She was changing her clothes as she was getting ready to get off work. Leaning against the door, Alex patted his chest and gasped. The scene that he just saw was still lingering in his mind, muttering to himself.
Such a beautiful figure.
Suddenly, the door swung open and Alex almost fell on the ground face first. Then he saw Dr. Cheryl's mesmerizing face staring angrily at him.
What were you saying?
Such a beautiful figure. Ah, that, Dr. Cheryl, I was going to say was that idiot of a nurse Chloe left my mother in the corridor. If anything happened to my mother, I want her to pay me back with her life.
Alex was dumbfounded. He couldn't remember what important business he had with Dr. Cheryl. With that, he succeeded in capturing Dr. Cheryl's attention. She quickly ran over to the ward and saw Lady Brittany was being brought back to the ward. She immediately yelled at Nurse Chloe. Throughout the incident, Chloe's head stayed low and she dared not to say a single word. Then, Dr. Cheryl checked on Lady Brittany's condition and said to Alex,
"In light of your mother's condition, my recommendation is that we have the surgery as soon as possible. Do you have the money? If you are facing difficulties, I can lend you the money."
There's no need to do that. I have the money. Thank you, Dr. Cheryl.
Alex didn't expect that Dr. Cheryl would be kind enough to do that. $500,000 was no small sum, even for a famous doctor like her. Chloe, who overheard the conversation, was also shocked and thought to herself,
"Is Dr. Cheryl stupid? She offered to lend money to this garbage. What does she see in him?"
Great. I'm glad to hear that. I will arrange for your mother's surgery the first thing in the morning tomorrow.
Thank you.
Follow me, let's discuss some of the details to prepare for tomorrow's operation.
Dr. Cheryl told Alex and they both left the ward. She mumbled on and on, mostly about the preparations needed before and after the surgery, time arrangements, and finally said,
"Please be early for tomorrow. There's nothing to worry about. I will personally do the surgery. The success rate is very high. Moreover,
Forget the image you saw in my office. Or I'll make you pay."
Alex nodded, promptly signing to show that he'll make sure that the matter will only be between them. Then he promptly left the scene. Dr. Cheryl watched as Alex went back to his mother's ward, and she sighed. Of course, she did not fall for him, but was deeply touched by his filial piety. Over the past 10 months, Alex had visited his mother every single day without fail. She knew only a few people would be able to do that. Soon, Alex ran to the payment counter to prepay $1 million to the hospital for his mother's medical expenses. The transaction went through without a hitch. Alex felt surreal when he took back the ATM card. Just like that, his life took another great turn. He was a master once again. Only this time, he's even richer than he used to be.
Spark, just you wait. How dare you have such thoughts about my wife? I will show you no mercy.
While he thought of Spark, he remembered that Dorothy gave him the money for his mother's medical bills. He took Spark's money, that despicable Spark. Was he taking the opportunity to sleep with her? Damn it! The thought of it filled him with rage. He quickly called Dorothy, but her mobile phone was turned off. He felt that something was off. He immediately rang Madame Claire.
"Mom, is Dorothy home?"
Dorothy is none of your business. You still have the audacity to call me? Don't ever look for us again under any circumstances.
Mom, you cannot let Dorothy and Spark be together. I will take care of the money problem as well as Thousand Miles conglomerate. Please leave them to me.
Don't make such ridiculous promises. If you can take care of these problems, pigs might fly. Let me be clear, Spark is my son-in-law, Dorothy and Spark are spending the night. You are nothing but a cuckold.
Click. Alex's felt as if his brain exploded upon hearing this. He felt disoriented, as if the world was spinning under his feet. Madame Claire had hung up the phone. Alex felt like his soul had left him. Although he was rich once again, it all meant nothing if Dorothy was not with him. Alex returned to the Essex family villa as if he were a walking dead. Even though it was called a villa, it was just an unremarkable little house. After demolishing the old family home, a 3-story building was built from the ground up. It was a far cry from a real villa. Alex looked up and saw that the light in Dorothy's room was on.
Is Dorothy at home? She's not with Spark after all?
At that moment of realization, it was as if a huge burden was lifted from his chest. He saw hope and realized Madame Claire's words could not be trusted. She was deceitful. She liked to make things up just to fulfill the fantasies in her head. Alex rushed through the doors into the villa. He saw Madame Claire in the living room, video calling someone while applying nail polish on her toes with her feet up in the air. She was humming happily. Alex felt overwhelmed, knowing that Madame Claire was thrilled that her daughter was going to get remarried. She had forgotten all about the threats from Gaston Gates. Upon seeing Alex, Madame Claire jumped out of the couch and said,
"Who let this person in? You still dare to come back here? You are going to get divorced from Dorothy tomorrow. Get out!"
Alex ignored her comments and quickly rushed up the stairs. He wanted to make sure that Dorothy was in her room. He was determined not to lose her. Alex tried to open the door, but it was locked. He knocked hard on the door and begged,
"Dorothy, please open the door. I know that you're in there. I have something important to tell you."
You garbage of a person, get out of our house. Who gave you permission to come up here? You think you have the right to be here?
I must see Dorothy.
Did I not tell you that she went to spend the night with Spark? Maybe she'll be pregnant with his child. Stop being a burden to my daughter and our family. If you stop my daughter from marrying Spark, I will hit you.
Madame Claire said. Alex grunted. If his snobbish mother-in-law knew now that he had $10 billion in the bank and $1 trillion empire, how would she feel? However, he decided it was not the right time to reveal it to her. In time, he would let her know of his newfound wealth and influence. Suddenly, the door to Dorothy's room swung open. Dorothy was at the door and said,
"Mom, can you watch your mouth? Even if you have no shame, I do. Who is spending the night with Spark? I'm not divorced yet. If word spreads, how can I face anyone?"
As she spoke, Dorothy slowly came out of the room. She looked at Alex without showing any emotions on her face. Madame Claire quickly interjected as she saw Dorothy became unsettled.
"I'm just telling him so that he would give up and never bother us again."
Darling, I'm so glad that you did not spend the night with Spark.
Alex was relieved to know that he was not too late. With a smile on his face, he assured Dorothy he was filled with hope. He felt like a brand new person, who had the power to protect those that he loved. Alex thought to himself,
My darling Dorothy, you've never given up on me and endured so much for me over the past 10 months. You can depend on me for the rest of our lives.
Not understanding the meaning behind Alex's smile, Dorothy felt disappointed and angry. How could he be smiling after what had transpired? Had he really lost his mind? She angrily said,
"What are you smiling about? Even if I'm not with him today, I might be tomorrow. Are you happy about that?"
No, that's not what I mean. I just want to let you know that I'm not who I used to be. I admit that I had lost myself for the past 10 months. Right now, I need to apologize and also thank you for not giving up on me. Finally, I can stand on my own 2 feet, I can protect you. That Gaston from Thousand Miles conglomerate is nothing in front of me. I will avenge you. From now on, nobody will harass you.
Just as Alex was speaking enthusiastically, Madame Claire slapped him across his face.
Are you hallucinating? Are you brain dead? You must have gone insane. Why don't you just tell us that you own Thousand Miles conglomerate? Get out of our home now before you spread your craziness around here.
Alex glared at Madame Claire. He wanted to tell her that he truly was the owner of Thousand Miles conglomerate so badly. However, even if he said it, no one would believe him, just as Dorothy thought he was crazy when he told her he had $10 billion. It was indeed difficult for anyone, even himself, to believe it was true. He took a deep breath and said,
Dorothy, just give me 1 day. Trust me. I can take care of everything. I found an old friend of my father who is willing to help me. The $500,000 that you gave me, is it from Spark? I am going to repay him right now.
Hold on. Don't go.
Dorothy, I'm begging you, just trust me this once. Don't agree to Spark's proposal. 1 day is all I need. Let me prove it to you. If I fail, I would agree to a divorce. I do not need the $500,000 from Spark.
Dorothy just looked at him stoically. She felt like he was a different person. She sighed and said,
I did not take the money from Spark. I sold off my wedding ring for the money.
What did you say?
Alex almost was about to faint as he learned that Dorothy had sold off the wedding ring the both of them had picked together, but was relieved knowing that the money was not Spark's and asked,
Who did you sell it to? I'm going to buy it back right now.
I sold it for $500,000, but if you want to buy it back, it may cost more than $1 million. Even if you did not use the money for your mother's medical bills, there's no way you can afford to buy it back. Maybe our life and marriage are destined to end. Please wake up, Alex. Stop dreaming. I hope you can live well without me.
Dorothy shook her head and turned around and slammed the door. Tears were running down her cheeks. Alex said,
No, I won't allow that to happen. Who did you sell it to? I will buy it back right away. Even if it costs me $100 million, I would still buy it. Don't worry, I will not let our marriage end.
LG Balfour.
Okay. You have to wait for me.
This man must have gone mad. He really thinks that he has the $100 million? This man must have gone mad. He really thinks that he has the $100 million?
Rockefeller, I'm telling you right now, you are getting a divorce with Dorothy tomorrow. If you dare to interfere with Dorothy marrying Spark, I will come after you.
Alex took a deep breath and quickly rushed to LG Balfour. LG Balfour was the premier jewelry store in California. There's only one store in California, so it was easy to locate. It's already 8:30 as Alex reached the store. Luckily the store had not closed as there were quite a few customers still browsing inside. The store was enormous, with a total of 3 stories. They were stocked to the brim with all kinds of expensive and exclusive jewelry. It was difficult to estimate the total value of all their goods. The security measurements in the store were absolutely top-notch. Alex wanted to look for a store assistant, but he ran into a familiar face. It was the nurse from the hospital, his ex-girlfriend, Chloe. Chloe was taken aback when she saw him and immediately walked towards him and said in a playful tone,
My, did I step on dog poop today? Why does my luck have to be so terrible to run into you again? What are you doing here? You cannot afford the jewelry here.
Chloe was not in her nurse uniform and was wearing a tight dress that displayed her alluring figure. She was with an obese man in a suit and leather shoes, and she was hanging on him as if she were part of his body. Alex replied,
It is none of your business.
Don't forget what your wife had to do just to get the money for your mother's surgery. Don't tell me that you are using the money to buy a gift for her. You should just go home. This is not a place that welcomes a pauper like you.
You cannot even begin to imagine how much money I have. Would you believe that I can buy this right now?
Pointing at the necklace on the billboard, named Love in a Fallen City, with the price tag of $30 million. Chloe laughed out loud and said,
Are you daydreaming? If you can afford it, I will kneel down and lick your feet.
Chloe, you are not qualified to lick my toes. You should go home and this fatty's toes. If you make him happy, he might buy you $2,000 worth of rubbish.
You.
Chloe's anger was so intense, she's like a ticking time bomb about to go off. The fat tie finally chased Chloe. When he was about to coax her to bed, Alex made a fool out of him. The fat tie said,
You penniless bastard, take a petty look at yourself. Do you think you can afford this necklace with a $30 million price tag? What? Do you think it is only $3,000?
What if I can afford to buy it? Can you afford one? Will you buy one too?
Asked Alex. Alex had made up his mind to purchase the jewelry. He had owed Lady Dorothy Essex too much for the past 10 months. Buying a necklace worth $30 million might make her happy, and gain her trust in his capability to protect her. The fat tie said angrily,
Where did this idiot come from? A bunch of nonsense. Chloe, how did you know this kind of person? It demotes me every time talking to him.
Tell me directly if you do not have money. There is no need to make excuses. I won't make things difficult for you. After all, there is only one love in a fallen city. Only my wife is worthy of it. Your girlfriend is unworthy of the necklace. It is better if you could just buy the one beside it, which is $3 million. How about it? Want to bet?
Wow, who do you think you are to threaten me? Bring it on. But what if you can't afford it?
If you can't afford it, kneel and address me as your mother 3 times.
Got it.
Alex stared at her coldly, then they randomly asked the nearest shop assistant. And they found out that they needed to go to the 3rd floor if they wanted to buy the Love in a Fallen City necklace. The 3 of them arrived at the 3rd floor in a blink of an eye, found the counter, and saw the person in charge of this necklace was an acquaintance. She was Lady Dorothy's best friend, Cassandra.
What? You want to buy the Love in a Fallen City necklace? Are you out of your mind? Alex, I don't understand. What right do you have to hold on to Dorothy? Be a man, divorce Lady Dorothy immediately, don't be a burden to her anymore. Don't you know, Dorothy came to me a while ago and sold her wedding ring for $500,000 for your mother's medical expenses. Now you are telling me that you want to buy a $30 million Love in a Fallen City necklace. Do you think I am an idiot to believe in you?
Alex, did you hear that your wife even sold the wedding ring, and you are still here, pretending to be rich? Just admit that you can't afford it. Kneel, lick the soles of my feet, and address me as your mother 3 times.
As soon as she finished talking, she took off her shoes and stretched out her feet. Alex didn't even take a glance at her, and said to Cassandra,
"What if I can afford to buy it?"
If you can afford to buy it, I will kneel before you and address you as my father.
Snap! Alex took out his credit card. Cassandra grabbed the bank card, threw it on Alex, and said resentfully,
"Would you cut it out, already? Stop interfering with my work here. Alex, I know you well enough. Don't even bother to think about that $30 million necklace, you can't even afford a $3,000 necklace. If you don't leave now, I will ask the security guard to chase you out of here."
I'm here to buy things. Why would you want to chase me out? Cassandra, are you trying to get yourself fired?
Cassandra waved, and the 2 security guards who had already noticed what happened earlier rushed over. A security guard said,
"Cassandra, what's the matter?"
This guy is here to cause trouble, please chase him out.
Cassandra, don't be shameless. I'm here to buy things, not to cause trouble. If your boss gets to know about your service attitude, do you think you can continue to work here? Aren't you scared of me filing a complaint about you to your boss?
Well, if you wish to buy the Love in a Fallen City necklace, you will need the VIP membership card of LG Balfour or the Star membership card of 1000 Miles Conglomerate. If you have one of those, I can sell it to you.
Alex was frozen for a while. One of the security guards said,
"Yes, LG Balfour is a subsidiary of 1000 Miles Conglomerate. Think about the consequences if you try to cause trouble here."
Are you shocked? Accept your defeat. How about you kneel and lick the soles of my feet? This place belongs to 1000 Miles Conglomerate. If you are trying to cheat out of a bet, you are trying to offend Lord Lex Gates. Deal with it.
Give me a few minutes.
I am at LG Balfour and I wish to purchase the Love in a Fallen City necklace, but I don't have a membership card, so I can't buy it.
Master, please give me 2 minutes, I will deal with it immediately.
Lord Lex Gates said immediately. Alex hung up the phone and glanced at everyone.
Please give me 2 minutes.
Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes to see what kind of tricks you are trying to play. If you are trying to cause trouble here intentionally, I will beat the hell out of you.
Cassandra sneered. Finally, in less than 2 minutes, a middle-aged man hurried over. Cassandra and the 2 security guards saw that person and immediately greeted him respectfully. They exclaimed,
Hello, Mr.
Jefferson.
It turned out that he was the general manager of LG Balfour, Jefferson. Cassandra thought that Jefferson had come to check out what happened after hearing the noise. She quickly pointed at Alex and said,
"Mr. Jefferson, this guy came here to cause a fuss. He doesn't have a membership card but kept saying that he wished to buy the treasure of our store, the Love in a Fallen City necklace. The security guards will chase him out from here now."
You are ridiculous. He is the supreme VIP of LG Balfour.
What? Everyone was flabbergasted and speechless. Meanwhile, Cassandra, who was covering her face, was stunned. Jefferson walked up to Alex and said respectfully,
Master Alex, I'm sorry for being late.
So, can I buy this Love in a Fallen City necklace now?
Yes, of course, you can. Oh wait, you can have it if you like it, you don't need to pay anything for it.
Chloe was speechless. Looking back and forth at Alex and the necklace, there was envy in her eyes. The $30 million necklace was being given away just like that. Why? Wasn't Alex a piece of trash? How was he qualified for LG Balfour to give him such an expensive gift?
No, I will buy it myself.
Alex took out his black credit card and threw it at Cassandra.
Please, swipe the card. Remember what you have said just now, I will be your father after I have bought the necklace.
Cassandra took the credit card and her face turned pale. Alex pointed at Chloe and Fat Ty and said to Jefferson,
Also, these two people here, they placed a bet with me just now that if I bought the Love in a Fallen City necklace, they will buy the $3 million necklace shown on the billboard. You bet, you pay, or you are showing no respect to Lord Lex.
The security immediately blocked the two people, intentionally or unintentionally. 1 minute later. Beep. Payment successful. When Cassandra handed the credit card back to Alex, her hands were slightly shaking. $30 million was paid successfully. How much credit was actually available on this card? Cassandra was startled. Unfortunately, the balance of the card could not be displayed on the machine.
It's unbelievable. Why does Mr. Jefferson respect him so much, even saying that he is a supreme VIP? I do not think there has been any supreme card in LG Balfour.
Her mind was filled with questions. She could not seem to understand the reason. Alex had been living off the Assex's family and served the Assex's family as a nanny. Why was there such a huge contrast? In the past, Alex had even poured water for her to wash her feet. Chloe yelled.
Impossible, impossible, absolutely impossible. The machine must be broken. How can this garbage of a human have $30 million? He shouldn't even be able to withdraw $3,000. You guys, double-check the transaction. Hurry up!
So, are you trying to go back on your words here in the subsidiaries of the Thousand Miles conglomerate? How dare you scold Master Alex? You dug your own grave. Guards, slap her.
Jefferson glared at Chloe. Thousand Miles conglomerate had the most influence over the underworld in California. Of course, their security guards had to be extraordinary. Right after receiving the orders, Chloe was pinned down to the countertop and was slapped a dozen times in a row. Her face was swollen and looked like a pig's head. The Fat Ty that stood next to her didn't dare to make a sound.
Fatty, don't forget about the jewelry with a $3 million price tag.
Okay, I'll buy it right away.
Alex reminded him. The Fat Ty was about to cry. To him, $3 million was not a small amount. However, being confronted by the Thousand Miles conglomerate, he didn't have the guts to say no. He answered promptly. When Chloe heard it, her eyes shone with excitement. After shopping for half of a day here, they only bought a bracelet for $2,000. She wanted to buy a jade bracelet, but the Fat Ty had refused. He said that he would buy it after tonight. Now that he was going to purchase a piece of jewelry for $3 million, she should thank Alex. As she was about to reach out to the jewelry, the Fat Ty pushed her away.
Go away, who said that this was for you?
If it was not for me, then whom is it for?
I'm buying this for my mother. From now on, this will be my family's heirloom. You are not worthy of being my wife. You're just AB*TCH, stop daydreaming.
Fatty replied. Chloe was furious. She lunged herself at Fatty and started a fight with him. Finally, Jefferson gave an order to drag and kick them all out. Cassandra looked at Alex with mixed emotions. At last, she couldn't help but ask.
I don't understand. How can you be so rich, being able to casually buy a piece of jewelry worth $30 million, but yet allow Lady Dorothy to sell her wedding ring for the sake of your mother? Have you been lying to her to manipulate her feelings?
That is my business, you won't understand. Bring out that wedding ring.
Hurry up. How dare you? You should quickly take it out when the master has asked. Otherwise, you are going to pay the price.
Jefferson said. Cassandra dared not to hesitate. She hurriedly took the ring out and said,
According to the company's policy, the company paid $500,000 for this diamond ring. If you wish to purchase it back, the selling price must be doubled, so you will have to pay $1 million for it.
Jefferson slapped Cassandra again and cursed.
Double? Are you out of your mind? Don't you know Master Alex's identity? He is the owner of Thousand Miles Conglomerate. Does he need to pay for a ring like this?
This guy was very rough and didn't look like a general manager of a jewelry store. He must be from the underworld. Cassandra's eyes bulged, doubting her ears. Mr. Jefferson had said that Alex owned the entire Thousand Miles Conglomerate. How was it possible? He was not a loser. He was the secret boss after all. Alex said,
That's enough, Mr. Jefferson. No need to publicize this. It will only create unpleasant rumors.
I'm sorry, Master. It was my mistake. Please deal with me as you please.
Jefferson quickly slapped himself. Alex was speechless. After that, he looked at Cassandra.
What have you promised?
Cassandra was startled. After that, she lowered her head and said in extreme humiliation,
Father.
Remember, I don't want anyone to know my identity, including Lady Dorothy. Do make sure you keep it under wraps, otherwise, you will face the consequences.
Cassandra was aware of how powerful Thousand Miles Conglomerate was. She quickly nodded her head when she heard his words. Jefferson with his thumb, drew an invisible line across his neck. When Cassandra saw and understood what it meant, she was so scared that her heart skipped a beat. Alex said,
There's no need for that. She is my wife's best friend. Also, she is now my daughter. Give her a chance. Let her work here and please take good care of her.
All right, then. Let's promote her to the manager on the 3rd floor, what do you think?
Alex carried jewelry worth millions of dollars in his hands. Under the escort of Cassandra and Jefferson, he walked out of LG Balfour. Cassandra was dumbfounded. It was a blessing in disguise that she was promoted to manager. The way she looked at Alex had changed. Right at that moment, a Rolls-Royce Phantom appeared in front of them. The person in the car was Lord Lex Gunther. Cassandra saw Lord Lex escort Alex into the car respectfully before it drove away. Alex said to Lord Lex Gunther,
Lord Lex, I have a favor to ask.
Young master, your wish is my command. I am always at your service.
Do you happen to know this person by the name Sir Gaston and Thousand Miles Conglomerate? Recently he signed a contract with my wife's company, Essex Constructions. At the reception, I saw him bullying my wife and asked her to sleep with him.
Son of a bitch. Lady Dorothy got involved. He practically signed his own death warrant. What is his full name?
I don't know. Sir Gaston was all that I know. Is there no such person by your side?
I don't recall anyone with the family name of Gaston, but I will check it out right away. I will get to the bottom of this by tomorrow.
Okay, I'll wait for your news. By the way, about the fact that my dad is the founder of Thousand Miles Conglomerate, don't publicize it. Keep it in the dark as it has always been and stop addressing me as master from now on, just Mr. Alex.
Lord Lex Gunther was stunned, then nodded.
Very well, keeping it low may keep you safe. There are lots of opponents in Thousand Miles Conglomerate. I'm afraid that it might lead to you and Lady Dorothy. I will address you, Mr. Alex, when we are outside.
Alex's eyes fluttered. He hadn't thought about it before. Come to think of it, he should try to keep a low profile. Lord Lex Gunther's name was well known to be the greatest gang leader in California. He must be living life under the glint of armors and flash of swords. He must have countless enemies. After that, Lord Lex Gunther took out another card.
This is Thousand Miles Conglomerate's Supreme VIP card. Expenses in all the subsidiaries will be waived. Take it, it will save you a lot of trouble and may hide your identity. Master, let me drive you home, going to the Essex's residence.
Lord Lex asked while Alex pondered. He surely cannot enter the Assex's residence now as his mother-in-law might lop his head off.
Send me to a hotel, any hotel will do.
The Golden Age of Youth Hotel it is.
Is that necessary?
Asked Alex. That was the most expensive and luxurious hotel in California. Lord Lex Gunther smiled and said,
Master, that's your property too.
As he lay down on the bed of the most luxurious presidential suite in the Golden Age of Youth Hotel, Alex couldn't fall asleep. What happened today was too overwhelming. He didn't expect that his father had kept such a big secret, 1,000 Miles conglomerate, most powerful in the underworld of California. Would that mean that his father was the strongest underground boss too? Was it true that his death was due to a traffic accident? Or there's more to this than met the eye? Late in the midnight hours, when he finally fell into a deep sleep, he was woken up by his phone alarm. He got up and rushed to the hospital. In the end, when he arrived at the hospital, he saw several doctors gathered around his mother's bed. Among them, Dr. Cheryl Coney, a beautiful doctor with a particularly hot body, was there too. He was shocked. He thought something bad happened to his mother. He quickly asked,
Dr. Cheryl, what's wrong with my mother? Has her condition gotten worse?
Don't worry, her condition did not worsen, but has shown signs of improvement.
Really?
Alex froze for a while, and said in surprise. Dr. Cheryl nodded.
Yes, before this we thought that your mother's condition was bad, and she needed surgery right away. Unexpectedly, it quickly stabilized, and all the indicators returned to normal. Your mother has a very strong will to survive. This is great.
So, there's no need for surgery?
Let's do an inspection first. If everything is fine, there is no need for surgery. The surgery has its risks too.
2 hours later. The inspection report was out. Cheryl nodded and said,
It's good, no surgery is needed, and according to our observation, your mother's chances of waking up has increased, indicating that she has her consciousness, and I will continue to treat her by acupuncture.
Thank you, Dr. Cheryl.
Alex was overjoyed and hugged her tightly. He was delighted. This was the first time that his mother's situation had shown any improvement in 10 months. Dr. Cheryl, whom Alex suddenly hugged, frowned immediately. She perceived that he didn't intend to harass her, so she didn't blame him, but patted him on his back.
Okay, take good care of your mother, keep it up.
Okay.
Can you let go of me?
Okay.
Let go now!
No, Dr. Cheryl, your hair is stuck in my clothes.
Alex answered at the same time, at the Assex's villa. Spark Rockefeller came in his Lamborghini to see Lady Dorothy again. The car honked. Madame Claire, who was wearing black pajamas, opened the door and greeted him.
Oh, Spark, my dear son-in-law, it felt like I haven't seen you a long time, even though I haven't seen you for just one night. Mom missed you so much.
She wore no makeup, and her hair tousled. She still looked as young as 30 years old, with a more matured temptation. Seeing such a lively and charming woman, Spark was so eager to rush forward and take her into his arms, but fortunately, he resisted, he thought in his mind.
Just wait till I get Lady Dorothy. By that time none of you can run away. Alexrockfeller, that good-for-nothing, can't get a hold of this treasure. Such a fool.
While thinking, Spark handed the gift he was holding to Madame Claire. He also took the opportunity to touch her. Madame Claire didn't realize it at all, but smiled.
Ah, you're my best son-in-law ever. Not only did you visit me, but brought me gifts too. Compared to you, that trash Alex is nothing but rubbish. Both of you are Rockefellers, but there are such huge differences between the two of you.
Mom, why would you bring up that trash? You're killing the mood.
Okay, I say no more.
Both of them entered. Lady Dorothy and her sister, Lady Beatrice, were both there. Lady Dorothy felt very uncomfortable when she heard Spark shamelessly address her mother as, "Mum, what's done was done." She had no way out and was helpless. The night before, Alex vowed solemnly and said that he had the money and can easily solve the problem, but till now he was nowhere to be seen, not even a phone call, could she believe in him? Don't tell me.
Mom, I handpicked this jade bracelet for you last night. Do you like it? I think it is a perfect match with the fair skin on your beautiful hands. While this diamond necklace, Sis Beatrice, is for you. You are beautiful. Try it on. It will look great on you.
Spark took out the gifts, sweet-talking. The two women were dazed immediately. They couldn't wait to wear them on. Madame Claire compared Alexrockfeller with Spark again and was determined to divorce Lady Dorothy from Alex. Comparing both Rockefeller brothers, they were worlds apart. The more she looked at the jade bracelet on her hand, the more she liked, but as she saw Lady Dorothy sitting on the sofa, who kept quiet, she immediately rolled her eyes and said,
My dear son-in-law, you bought gifts for both your mother and sister. Have you bought something for your wife, Dorothy too?
Mom, shame on you. Alex and I am not divorced yet. I am still Alex's wife.
Lady Dorothy felt uneasy and said, while Madame Claire coldly snorted,
Wife. Bullshit. Has he ever touched you? You have sold the wedding ring, what else is there to talk about? Since Spark Rockefeller is here now, ask the trash to come over now and get divorced. Then, get your marriage certificate with Spark, and be Spark Rockefeller's wife.
Yes, sis. I think that is such a good idea. Killing two birds with one stone. Anyway, I won't acknowledge Alex that trash as my brother-in-law. Only a young man like Spark is worthy of being my brother-in-law.
Spark heard it and was overjoyed. Lady Beatrice came in for and supported. Lady Dorothy felt powerless and weak. She was speechless. Spark then said,
Okay, let's go file for your divorce and register for our marriage right away.
You haven't solved the problem for me yet. Let's talk about it when the problem is solved.
That is easy. Hee hee, there's nothing my parents couldn't handle, right? Easy. By the way, it's almost noon. How about we first grab some lunch, then you can divorce that trash. My dad can step in for you. Dorothy, I am not threatening you, this is to show sincerity to my dad. Otherwise, how would he believe that I want to marry you when you are still married?
Let me call up that trash.
Madame Claire promptly said. It was 11:30 in the morning. Alex just came out from the hospital and was going to find out from Lord Lex Gunther if the problem had been resolved, but suddenly he received a call from Madame Claire saying that they were having lunch with Spark Rockefeller and asked him to bring along his marriage certificate to meet them. She wanted them to head straight to the office to divorce after lunch. Alex's face darkened. Divorce?
Okay, I'll be right there.
He decided to bring along the Love in a Fallen City necklace worth $30 million to shove it in both Madame Claire and Spark Rockefeller's face. Half an hour later, Alex rushed to the restaurant. As soon as he walked in, he saw Spark taking out a jewelry box and said to his wife Lady Dorothy,
Dorothy, my heart is for you. I call upon heaven and earth as my witness. Just like this only necklace in the world, I want you in my life, you and no one else.
Then, he opened the jewelry box and showed it to Lady Dorothy. Lady Beatrice covered her mouth and exclaimed,
Oh my God, is this the treasure of L.G. Balfour, Love in a Fallen City, that is worth $30 million? I saw someone on the internet saying that there was a mysterious guy who bought the necklace last night, and it turned out to be you, Brother Spark Rockefeller. Sister, you are so blessed.
Spark was stunned. The Love in a Fallen City necklace he was holding was an imitation, but he didn't expect that someone would have bought that necklace with a $30 million price tag. However, it would be better if the necklace had been purchased, then there was no way to confirm that the necklace he was holding was fake, and he said promptly,
Yes, I bought it for $30 million last night.
Yours is fake. The one that I am holding is the genuine Love in a Fallen City necklace.
At that moment, Alex sneered. He walked in and threw the jewelry box in his hand on the table. There was pin-drop silence. Everyone in that private dining room was shocked. But a few seconds later, a burst of laughter broke the silence. Everyone laughed. Only Lady Dorothy was deeply disappointed after being shocked. Madame Claire then exclaimed.
You can afford to buy the love in a fallen city necklace worth $30 million? Did you sleep on the street last night? You must be still asleep, still dreaming about it, huh? If you can afford this necklace, I will eat this table.
Mom, you don't need to eat the table. Your teeth are not strong enough to bite it.
Mom? Who is your mother? Your mother is still in the hospital, half dead. From today onwards, Spark Rockefeller is my only son-in-law, and he's the only one qualified to address me as a mom. You divorced Dorothy in the afternoon. What? Are you angry? How dare trash like you be angry at me, dare to beat me up? Come on, here, beat my head. If you dare to beat me, I lose.
Madame Claire pointed at her head. Alex couldn't be bothered to deal with this shrew. Instead, he looked at Lady Dorothy and said,
Dorothy, I told you I am not who I used to be. Now I can protect you and everyone around me. The love in a fallen city necklace inside of this jewelry box is the proof. L.G. Balfour only had one love in a fallen city necklace, the only one in the world, which is exactly the one I bought. The rest are fake. Also, I retrieved our wedding ring, and it's in this box.
Ha ha ha. Listen, Dorothy. Listen carefully, what kind of bullshit is he spouting? How shameless, he must have gone insane. How dare he say that Spark's love in a fallen city necklace is fake? Is yours genuine? Yours must be fake too.
Yes. Alex, this is a real eye-opener. Bunch of bullshit. With my current status as Spark Rockefeller, do you think I will use a fake necklace to deceive people? $30 million means nothing to me, but what about you? You knelt to Mum, begging for $500,000 yesterday. No one would believe in you.
Dorothy, do you believe in me?
Let me ask you, you said you have a way to solve the threat by Thousand Miles conglomerate. Have you done it?
My people are working on it. News will be here soon.
Ha ha. You liar, do you know anyone from Thousand Miles conglomerate? Even if you kneel in front of the entrance of Thousand Miles conglomerate for 3 days and 3 nights, no one will help you. You are talking smack.
Spark laughed and said. Lady Dorothy sighed and said nothing. She knew that she shouldn't have pinned her hopes on him at all. At this moment, Alex's cell phone rang. He looked at the caller ID on the screen, and it was the boss of Thousand Miles conglomerate, Lord Lex Gunther. He picked up the call. Lord Lex Gunther said on the other side,
Master, I have checked with the matter, and I've found the person. Would you like me to drown this person?
Alex was overjoyed and looked at Spark. He remembered Lady Dorothy had told him yesterday that she wanted to take revenge with her own hands. He said immediately,
That's too easy on him. I will take care of him myself.
Okay, where are you, Master? I'll pick you up.
Don't bother, I'll be there.
Okay, I'm at Hell's Angels.
It has been resolved. Thousand Miles conglomerate will no longer threaten you. That rascal Sir Gaston has been found. If he dares to think about laying a finger on you again, I will take revenge on him myself. I will kill him.
Then right after that, he felt hungry. He sat down, grabbed a bowl of salad, and gobbled it up. When Madame Claire saw him eating like a hungry hippo, she shot him a look of disdain.
You can't even afford to have a proper meal. How dare you continue to daydream?
Lady Dorothy didn't believe it at all. Looking at Alex talking big and fantasizing, she was heartbroken. She stood up abruptly, took up a cup, and splashed it on his face.
I beg you, would you please wake up? Stop dreaming. When will you stop making a fool of yourself? You should take care of your mother in the hospital.
Dorothy, you must trust me. Just wait, you will receive the news soon.
Alex swallowed the food and wiped his face. Full of confidence, he turned around and left. Madame Claire grabbed the jewelry box angrily, threw it out the door, and cursed.
You're crazy. Take your bloody broken box with you. Who knows what is in there? Get out. If I knew you were trash back then, I would never have agreed to let you marry Dorothy.
Pop! The jewelry box was thrown open. Inside, both the wedding ring and the love in a fallen city necklace fell out. Madame Claire was stunned. She didn't expect there to be a necklace in the box. Alex picked up the wedding ring. As he was about to pick up the necklace, a woman picked it up. Looking up, it turned out to be that beautiful Dr. Cheryl Coney.
Dr. Cheryl, why are you here?
I'm here to have a meal with a friend.
Alex was slightly startled. She was slightly surprised after glancing at the love in a fallen city necklace, and smiled.
Such a beautiful necklace, you should take care of it, here you are.
Alex smiled bitterly. He had spent $30 million on the necklace, but it was thrown away like garbage.
Isn't it beautiful? Here, you can have it, the rest think that it's fake anyway.
After speaking, he left without looking back. Dr. Cheryl held the necklace in a daze and finally looked at the people in the private dining room. She put away the necklace and walked towards her private dining room. It was just a fake necklace, take it and leave. Madame Claire sneered.
See? Giving it away easily to a passerby like this, and he still dares to claim that it is the love in a fallen city necklace that is worth $30 million? Look who got hold of the genuine love in a fallen city necklace now. Dorothy, you should thank Spark, keep the present. This necklace is a token of Spark's love for you.
This is too expensive, I cannot accept it. This is too expensive, I cannot accept it.
Lady Dorothy was moody and shook her head. Madame Claire took the necklace, and said,
You silly girl. All right, I will keep it for you, until the day you marry Spark.
Dorothy, you're here. I was looking for you all over.
At this moment, Cassandra walked in. She heard that Lady Dorothy and Alexrockfeller might be divorcing, so she came to help keep their marriage together. She knew that Alex had 1,000 Miles conglomerate supporting him. That was a real big shot. If she could hold on to being a friend of Alex and Dorothy, she could be at peace of mind for the rest of her life. But she didn't know the reason for Alex keeping his identity a secret. She could not let the cat out of the bag, the best that she could do was help them salvage their relationship. In fact, in her heart, she wanted to marry Alex the most.
Hey, this necklace. Why does it look like the love in a fallen city necklace?
She suddenly saw the necklace in Madame Claire's hand. Madame Claire bragged and said,
Cassandra, you are right, this is the one and only love in a fallen city necklace, and it is Spark's love token to Dorothy.
Cassandra looked at the necklace, then at Spark Rockefeller. After that, she showed disdain and said,
I think you are deceived by someone with ulterior motives. This is not the love in a fallen city necklace at all, it's a replica. It's fake.
Bullshit. What do you know about authenticity? This is the genuine love in a fallen city necklace.
Spark stood up with a gloomy expression. Cassandra sneered.
I sold the genuine love in a fallen city necklace. How can I not know? This necklace is fake.
As soon as she said that, everyone in the Essex family was confused. Of course, Spark would never admit that what he had given was just a fake necklace that was only worth $2,000. If he admitted it, wouldn't it be such a waste of his previous efforts? He stood up abruptly, pointed at Cassandra, and said,
I don't know what is the relationship between you and that garbage Alex, for you to stand up for him. Who are you to doubt the jewelry I gave? Do you know who I am?
Of course I know who you are. You are a spoilt brat trying to take away Alex's family property. Frankly, everything you have now belongs to Lady Dorothy. You snatched her wealth and now give her a piece of fake jewelry to get her body. You are so shameless.
Cassandra sneered and said, now that she believed in Alexrockfeller. She even addressed him as father so naturally she would stand up for him. Spark coldly snorted.
You kept saying that you sold the love in a fallen city necklace, then who did you sell it to?
Cassandra, as she was about to tell them that it was Alex, she suddenly remembered his warning. His identity couldn't be revealed, so she kept her mouth shut.
Why should I tell you?
Spark was furious. He slammed the table, which shook the water in the glass. He looked at Madame Claire and said,
Madame Claire, I don't understand the relationship between you and her. She came here to maliciously fabricate information and slander me. If that's the case, I take it as I overreacted, but I can do nothing to help if Thousand Miles Conglomerate comes after you.
I can guarantee you that Thousand Miles Conglomerate will never come after the Essex family.
Cassandra scoffed. Before she continued, Madame Claire picked up her glass and splashed the red wine on Cassandra's face. She scolded.
You there, what benefit did that trash Alex gave you to destroy Dorothy and Spark's wonderful marriage? Get out of here. Don't you dare to come to the Essex family again. My dear son-in-law, calm down. She is a mad woman. She doesn't mind her manners. She doesn't even know a single thing about the $30 million worth of jewelry. The jewelry you bought is the genuine one,
she quickly said to Spark. Cassandra was thoroughly wet and embarrassed. She looked at Lady Dorothy and suddenly laughed.
Dorothy, you will regret divorcing Alex. She shook her head and said. Lady Dorothy quickly stood up and apologized. But Madame Claire yelled.
Regret my ass! Are you jealous of Dorothy, who will soon become the young lady of Rockefeller Group, but no one wants you yet? Get lost! I'll beat you up if I see you again.
Cassandra suddenly sympathized with Alex. Madame Claire was such a money-minded fool. A mother who was willing to sell her daughter. But the funny part was, she too made fun of Alex. Madame Claire was a case of greed gone too far. She was beyond saving. Hell's Angels. Located on the most valuable land in the central city of California, it occupied an area of 1 hectare. It was the legendary largest and top-notch clubhouse in California. Normally, it was only open to the executives of Thousand Miles Conglomerate. Otherwise, those who can enter the clubhouse were big shots. Alex took a taxi and told the driver to go to Hell's Angels. The driver looked at him in disbelief. He wanted to ask why he was going to Hell's Angels. However, out of fear, he didn't ask a thing. Throughout the journey, he kept quiet. He even turned off the radio. Alex held the wedding ring while sulking. He didn't bother about the driver's expression.
Spark Rockefeller, you are so despicable and shameless. I will let you taste your own medicine. I will use the power of Thousand Miles Conglomerate to pin you to death. But that would be too boring. Let's have some fun and see what kind of tricks you can play. And you, Madame Claire, I will show you that Spark Rockefeller you're flattering is worth nothing to me.
Come to think about it, he had figured it out. Alex opened his eyes. It was filled with resolute and confidence. He had this capital now. Soon after, they arrived at Hell's Angels. After getting out of the car, Alex held his head up high and walked towards the door.
Stop. Unauthorized personnel cannot enter Hell's Angels.
A powerful and fierce voice shouted towards him. Alex startled, and thought.
It's not easy to enter the Hell's Angels. A single bellboy has such vigor. Legend had it that there are many masters, mercenaries, martial arts masters in Thousand Miles Conglomerate. Was he one of those? However, I am the real boss of Thousand Miles Conglomerate. No matter what type of master he was, he still worked for me. I'm not an unauthorized person. I'm looking for Lord Lex Gunther.
Outrageous. Who are you to address Master Lex by his name? Kneel and apologize.
I'm looking for Lord Lex Gunther. He invited me here. Trust me. Go in and tell him that Rockefeller is here.
Alex frowned. At this moment, a young man in a suit walked in arrogantly while whistling. He saw Alex being blocked at the door and said with a smile.
Oh, who is this? Isn't it the worst cuckold in California? Having a wife who doesn't allow her husband to touch her. An abandoned son of the Rockefellers.
Who are you? Who are you to judge me? Alex looked at him and did not recognize him at all. He said coldly. The man scoffed. Tell me who you are.
Haha, what about it? Do you want to take revenge on me? I'm so scared. Listen well, I am Gaston Gates. I am the person your wife offended at the reception a few days ago. How about it? Are you angry? Flipping out for your confidence. Pity you, a cuckold, worthless to carry my shoes. Forget it, I don't want to fight with you. Haha, what about it? Do you want to take revenge on me? I'm so scared. Listen well, I am Gaston Gates. I am the person your wife offended at the reception a few days ago. How about it? Are you angry? Flipping out for your confidence. Pity you, a cuckold, worthless to carry my shoes. Forget it, I don't want to fight with you.
Turns out, that was the Sir Gaston Gates. This person was not a big shot, just a nephew of an executive in a subsidiary of Thousand Miles conglomerate. Therefore, Lord Lex Gunther couldn't recognize him at all. It took a long time to look for this person. Then, Lord Lex Gunther called Alex up to Hell's Angels. What's funnier, Sir Gaston Gates had thought Lord Lex Gunther had called him up to the Hell's Angels for some good deed. He jeered at Alex. Alex sneered.
So it's you. Any last words?
You fool, last word for whom? Believe it or not, I won't let you die peacefully.
I don't believe it.
Gaston Gates was furious. This was Hell's Angels, his playground. He believed that he could give him a lesson. At this moment there was another voice.
I don't believe it either.
Which fool is saying he doesn't believe it?
Gaston Gates was furious. He turned his head. He saw who was talking and he was stunned.
Thank you for joining me on this journey through the Pinnacle of Life. I hope you have enjoyed listening to this fantasy novel as much as I have enjoyed narrating it. I can't wait for you to find out who Gaston met, and what happens next. If you want to know more about the story and discover the ending, make sure to tune in for the next episode. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more content like this.